Alex Jones has been warning us for decades that the elite or billionaires or government or aliens or Illuminati are going to implant tracking microchips in us. And he was right. Slam begat.
Microchips. This report comes from the Air Force website. It was also on the Federation of American Scientists. They explain how they're going to get you to accept implantable microchips.
Have you guys seen all the newscasts saying we all need chips? But really, you're being enslaved to a chip to track and trace everything you do, to bring you into this electronic straitjacket, this electronic prison.
You must be really worried.
Here is the public plan. They're talking about hive minds, connecting us all in by law with microchips in our brains by 2025.
I'm just ahead of the curve.
I have to admit, the electronic prison does sound pretty scary. And now listen to him talk about Elon Musk's company that makes implantable brain chips. And just notice his demeanour and how he feels about a terrifying global control conspiracy becoming reality.
So this is a lot bigger than Elon Musk. But this is my report on Elon Musk, and my message to Elon Musk is that we don't want this to become something that they try to push. It's just the new cell phone the general public gets. This needs to be for people that have serious disabilities, and I hope that Elon Musk will move that direction. If he moves for the mass implementation of this and for school children, I will absolutely come after him with everything I've got.
I hope so.
Why isn't he jumping up and down on the desk, screaming about the end of society as we edge closer to the prediction of the global enslavement?
Good question.
It seems odd that Alex is hoping Elon will be responsible for his brain chips, and yet he was happy to push a conspiracy about Bill Gates putting chips in vaccines. I mean, Alex has been warning us for decades about elite billionaires, and I can't imagine why he'd favour one over the other, because
there is no left or right.
And now listen to Elon's brain chip plans, and I'll leave Alex's words on screen to remind you of his position.
So that you have a digital tertiary self. Basically, we're already an android, effectively. I think people feel this when they forget their phone. Forgetting your phone, leaving your phone behind is like having missing limb syndrome. You need an implant. And ultimately, we'll need to replace the skull. We're talking about ultimately doing tens of millions of these things. Like maybe there's 8 billion people in the world. I don't know, maybe at least a few billion are going to want this, maybe more. So then how do you get billions of devices? We do think upgrades are pretty important, just as you would not want an iPhone 1 stuck in your head when there's an iPhone 16.
Absolutely not.
So Elon wants to replace your phone with a brain microchip, and unless you sometimes leave your skull at home, then you always have your brain chip tracker. I mean, perfectly innocent phone substitute that just so happens to have a tracker for Google Maps. Just in case you're too young to remember, Alex Jones was not a fan of trackers when first introduced to mobile phones.
In 2001, they passed a law that all new cell phones have to be satellite trackable. That is, there's GPS in the cell towers. They triangulate your cell phone and follow you, even when it's off.
And that's why he's never had a mobile phone, and he certainly doesn't walk around with a smartphone in his pocket all the time because they have tracking chips, and he's 100% against that because of global enslavement. Anyway, point is, Alex is super duper really against microchips and trackers, and he prides himself on being on the front line of this kind of news. So we poor dumb slaves don't walk into the
electronic prison.
I want to get everything right. I make mistakes sometimes, but I want to tell you the truth. See, I want to be tomorrow's news today.
Well, can you say it then, please?
It's now December 12th, 2024, and 6 weeks after Elon publicly said he wants mass implementation of his brain chip that will replace your smartphone, which surely will have a tracker for using Google Maps, and yet InfoWars has yet to report anything. Could it be that Alex
practices selective outrage?
The Army War College brags how they'll use the media and hype and peer pressure to get the people to accept what they would have never accepted without the brainwashing, the conditioning.
Or maybe if you were the richest man alive who bought a social media company, you could use that to convince people to accept your brain chips, or have them hand over medical records for free.
Why would I do that?
And it doesn't matter if Bill Clinton is in office or George W. Bush. They're just figureheads, puppets, marionettes dancing on a string. You look at the real actions of the Republicans and the Democrats.
They are almost identical.
Almost.
Big corporations are the biggest recipient of not just government largesse and corporate welfare. You know, this crony so-called capitalism. They are now being given governmental powers.
I am made of questions right now.
Why does Alex vote if there's no difference between the parties? And why didn't he vote for Harris just to show people he believes this to be true? And why did Alex vote for Trump knowing that Elon, mass implementation microchip Musk, was supporting him? Is he not concerned Elon might get Trump to loosen regulation on Neuralink and move us closer to the
Electronic prison.
You're asking a lot of questions.
Conspiracism, or conspiracists themselves, are just bullshit artists.
I wholeheartedly agree.
The first time and only time I was on Alex Jones' show, I was confronted with the fact that he is absolutely full of shit. And he knows it.
I know Alex is busy having his life auctioned away, and I'm not saying he is a lying hypocrite who sounds like he's gargling gravel, but if he doesn't condemn Elon for what he's doing, then yes, I will say he's a lying hypocrite who sounds like he's gargling gravel.
Like the bloody video.